notice about donkeys is some have long hair, some have short hair. Lulu sheds out nice. She's got short hair. You almost never have to brush her. Becky's a mix between the two. And then you got Molly, who is a long hair. We don't trim our donkeys in the Northeast. The fur is important for them to have to keep the flies off and their temperature in order. But what happens is, with the long hairs, when you're taking a nap, Lulu, they get really knotted, and it's really uncomfortable. So we use scissors and we trim those out, those knots out. We leave the rest so that she can still groom with the herd like normal. This looks like a mess, but it's just because I just trimmed it. I'm no hairdresser. But these are the knots. There's no way to get them without pulling and hurting them. So if you have a donkey that hasn't shed, this fur is okay. You can run your hands through it still, but when you touch here, you can feel the knots, and it ends up pulling their hair really bad, and then they won't groom. So really important to do a little maintenance. Some people trim. You can trim. We found that natural shedding is better for them, except for when they get knotted like this. Usually it's their bellies if they have the long belly fur, but hers is actually pretty good this year. It's her side fur that's really caused an issue. All right, so we're about halfway done with this side on Molly, and you can see that her fur is thick in these areas. And now that we've gotten the clumps out of there, we're going to follow that up with a deshedding brush. And this is why you want to get these out of their fur, because these knots happen and it pulls on all the other little hairs. So like even when I just touched her, she was visibly uncomfortable, so then she won't groom with the others. So I'm going to finish cutting this. I can't show the cutting it so much because I've only got one hand. You got to be real careful. If you're using straight scissors, you can use medical scissors too, but you want to just, oh, I scared you. I know. Oh, the door opened too, huh? You just want to come up underneath. Oh, Molly's a fraidy cat. So give them a little reassurance. But you're going to come up under the fur. That one hurts her, obviously. And cut from the bottom up, like I'm going to do with my fingers here. And then that takes that off of there. Ivan's acting like he's starving. We're going to keep working, Molly. We'll stop recording, okay? Okay, so we've cut all the knots out, and now we're going to use a 2-blade deshedding comb. And I figured I'll show you what we're doing here. So we have this scratching post plus a hitching post, and what I want to do here is show Molly the brush, because she's really scared. We'll let her get a smell, because she doesn't have control of the situation right now, so she's unhappy. But she's got her buddy here, so we're gonna have to move you out of the way, Mr. Marvin. She's not being hurt, okay? If you ever have a donkey that's somewhere you don't want him to be, you press him on the nose. That's how you move them. So we're gonna follow up our very amateur trim job with the deshedding brush, and now that we've got the knots out, we can actually brush her and have normal shedding. Now you might say to yourself, why don't you trim? We don't trim because they have the mechanism to shed, and they do it well. And what happens is, when you have a long ear with long fur, like Miss Molly here, you notice that she has the least trouble with horseflies, which is really nice because they just they can't get to her skin. Whereas like Albert or Mule, he has horseflies all over him, and he has no defense against the biting bugs. So the deshedding brush works excellent. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this. I got this little buddy trying to protect his girlfriend. She's not getting hurt, buddy, I promise. And this brush is taking tons of good undercoating off now, so she can have a more natural shed. As you can see it flying off there. Good girl, Molly. Look at that fur coming off. So it cleans up the area that you trimmed. Maybe you're a hairdresser at home, so you're cringing that you see my hack job, but I assure you that she'll have this groomed off by tomorrow. So that's what it's left like before the brush and after the brush. Not perfect, but looks a heck of a lot better. And you can see here, Marvin is a 3-year-old, about to be 3-year-old, we think, and he's not shedding nearly as much as Molly with that brush. So this is one of Molly's boyfriends, so he's here to protect her. As you can see, he's completely consoling her, making sure that she's not in harm's way, which we know she's not, but she doesn't know that. So if you have a long hair donkey, not a bad idea if you start seeing the knots. Most of them are just going to be like Marv here, and you know, you've got like 1 inch fur. I'd say it's probably 1 inch, and it doesn't really get knotted. He can shed it out at his own pace. They groom each other. But Molly is a different breed. We think she has some poitou in her, which is long hair, and she's a hard time grooming with the herd because it hurts when you've got all those knots. So the other thing is when you've got them tied like this, it's a little bit of patience tying, which is really, really helpful to let them learn about being tied and having patience. So that's really important for Molly, and she's doing really good, huh, girl? Yeah, you want to be done. I know. You can see the new furs here, very thin, and that's what it's supposed to look like. So another week or so and she'll have most of her fur shed out correctly now and look like a whole different animal. So that is how we groom our long hairs if they need it. We only intercede if they need it, though. Yeah? Is that right, Molly? Yeah. Okay. We're going to finish her up now.